Welcome everybody to round 5 out of 10 here in MF1 Season 2, and now we arrive here in Budapest for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And the previous winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix is none other than the man Fernando Alonso. After a wicked first lap pass, he managed to keep the lead and defend it from the Red Bulls and came out on top here at this track last season, so make sure to keep an eye on him. The Hungarian Grand Prix last season was very entertaining and very fun. We are in for an absolute thriller. Now let's move on to the track analysis. 70 laps around this 2.7 mile circuit, and there are 14 corners and 2 DRS zones. There are also many opportunities to overtake around this circuit. Now let's move on to the tire compounds. The hard C3s, medium C4s, and soft C5s are the tires we'll be using for today's Grand Prix, and the tire strategy is a 2-stop race for many teams. As all the cars are pretty much ready to start the formation lap, let's look no further and meet the grid. Both of the Cadillacs will be starting off in the back of the pack. Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas due to a bad qualifying result. Very disappointing for that team. In front of them is Franco Colapinto and Lance Stroll. In front of them is Esteban Ocon and Gabriel Bortoleto. In front of them is Oliver Bearman and Yuki Tsunoda. In front of them is Nico Hülkenberg and Fernando Alonso, the previous winner of this race. In front of them is Pierre Gasly and Kimi Antonelli. In front of them are two rivals of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Keep an eye on both of them. They're pretty fast here. In front of them is Charles Leclerc and George Russell, and on the front row are both McLarens once again of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. The McLarens are showing outstanding performance so far this season, but the only bad thing is that they don't have any luck. The McLarens were struggling at Jeddah. They both crashed out first corner of the first lap. And at Bahrain, one of the McLarens did win, but one of the McLarens crashed out. So because of this, the McLarens are a little bit behind in points. So for today's Grand Prix, all they really need is a great finishing result. But now the cars have completed their formation lap and they are ready at the line for the start of the Grand Prix. Here we are, folks, at the start of this Grand Prix as the lights begin to come up in front of the drivers. And it's lights out and away we go, and we're underway here at Hungary. Once again, both McLarens side by side, even equal on the start of the Grand Prix. Now look at this, battles happening throughout the pack. Side by side now, Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell, many cars battling with each other. And once again, it was a great start for both McLarens as they still remain side by side as they make their way into turn 1. Look at this, Russell, Leclerc still battling, Hamilton, Verstappen still battling, Antonelli almost cleared Pierre Gasly. And Nico Hülkenberg has almost gotten by Fernando Alonso. Now as we make our way into turn 1, Piastri blocks the low lane. Oh, here comes Charles Leclerc. He sees the opening. Will he make it work? No, he won't. Contact between the Ferrari and the McLarens, and both of the McLarens make contact. They slam into the barrier. Charles Leclerc is off the track. Now look at this battle for the lead. Russell has it, but Verstappen with a good exit, and he takes the lead of the Grand Prix. As once again, it's pandemonium on the start. As Charles Leclerc tried to make the 3 wide work. This was for the lead of the Grand Prix, but Norris turned right into him, and Norris slammed right into Piastri. Let's see this replay. Pandemonium, second race in a row. Let's check this out. Charles Leclerc goes low, making it 3 wide in a turn when Norris, oh my gosh, not enough room. It was very tight coming in a turn 1. Norris slammed right into Leclerc. And once again, Piastri just couldn't react to that. Norris slammed right into him, took him out. Both of the McLarens slammed into the barrier. And here's another look at it. This is just so unfortunate for McLaren. Bad luck strikes again as Leclerc tried to make the 3 wide work. Didn't hit Norris. Norris hit Piastri. And it was basically a chain reaction. Leclerc hit Norris. Norris hit his teammate Piastri. And just once again, 3rd race in a row for Oscar Piastri. He crashes out of a Grand Prix. Horrible luck for the Australian Grand Prix winner this season, as this incident is under review from the stewards. This is a look back at the incident that happened a lap ago, and the stewards have concluded no further investigation. This has been deemed as a racing incident. Once again, Leclerc tried to make the opening work, but there was just not enough room, and he slammed right into Norris. Norris slammed right into Piastri. So this whole massacre was due to not enough room in the first corner. The safety car period has now ended as race leader Max Verstappen now accelerates, and we are back underway here at Hungary. Max Verstappen is your race leader, George Russell's in second, and Lewis Hamilton driving for Ferrari is in third, and that's your top three. Pierre Gasly's under pressure from Nico Hülkenberg as we make our way into turn one. Hülkenberg goes low, late on the brakes goes the German man, and Nico Hülkenberg driving for Audi will get by the Alpine of Pierre Gasly. Oliver Behrman putting pressure on Fernando Alonso as we make our way into the chicane. Oliver Behrman now down low, light on the brakes, and Oliver Behrman driving for Haas is going to get by the Aston Martin and the previous winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix, which is Fernando Alonso, and it's a remarkable pass for the British man. Hamilton putting pressure on his old teammate George Russell as Hamilton looks low. Russell tries to defend, but there's nothing that he can do. Here comes Lewis Hamilton in the second position, and Lewis Hamilton gets by his former teammate. First round of pit stops now begin as Kimi Antonelli is your first taker. Kimi Antonelli has been showing massive improvement for the past two races. Finished second at Jeddah and is running fourth today and could get a podium. What a story that could be, as now Kimi Antonelli is back out on the racetrack. Your race leader and your MF1 Season 1 champion is now into the pits. Max Verstappen showing great performance today here at Hungary, but he has one issue. His rival, Lewis Hamilton, is catching him. He's running closely behind him, making up almost a second every lap. Verstappen really needs to pick up the pace if he wants to stop his rival. Talking about his rival, here he is. Lewis Hamilton, the man in second place, catching up to Verstappen, is now into the pits. Lewis Hamilton is the fastest car out there on the racetrack, and he's a major threat for Max Verstappen as he's catching up lap by lap by lap, as now Lewis Hamilton is back out on the racetrack. George Russell, currently running third, is now into the pits. Both Mercedes are running 3 and 4. Russell really wants to get back to the second position, but the man currently running second is the fastest guy out there on the track. But George Russell's not a quitter. He's going to try everything he can do to try catching up to Lewis Hamilton as he's back out on the track. Verstappen under pressure from Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen's trying to break the slipstream. Hamilton doesn't fall for it. Late on the brakes, and now we have a new race leader. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Nico Hülkenberg now putting pressure on Kimi Antonelli. Hülkenberg looks slow, light on the brakes, into the chicane, and Nico Hülkenberg, driving for the new Audi team, will put his Audi in the fourth position and gets by Kimi Antonelli, the two rookies battling it out. Second round of pit stops now begin as Max Verstappen is into the pits. Max Verstappen, currently running second, got passed by his rival Lewis Hamilton, wants to retake the race lead, but he is so close but yet so far from Lewis Hamilton as Max Verstappen's back out on the racetrack. Lewis Hamilton is now into the pits, the current race leader, and it seems like he is unstoppable. He's put a big gap on Max Verstappen. It seems like today is his day, and it could be the day where Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton win their first ever Grand Prix in MF1 as Hamilton's back out on the racetrack. Trouble in the chicane. Sergio Perez is off the track, and I think he barely slams into the barrier. No safety car. Sergio Perez regains control and he's back out on the track, currently not running a great day, but let's see what happened here. Sergio Perez with a big moment. Let's see, was it a lockup? Yes, it was. Perez locks it up and he goes for a wild ride in the sand trap, bouncing everywhere. And I believe he nudged the barrier ever so slightly. Tough break for Sergio Perez, driving for Cadillac, having a rough day, running last place. George Russell's now under pressure from Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg looks low. Russell tries to defend. Almost puts Hülkenberg in the grass. Now Hülkenberg light on the brakes and step aside George Russell. Welcome to the podium, Nico Hülkenberg, as he gets by. And with 5 laps to go, makes a miraculous pass and is in position to score his first ever career podium. Not only that, the first ever career podium for Audi. Lewis Hamilton wins the Hungarian Grand Prix, his first ever career victory in MF1. You knew it was coming. We all knew it was coming. Hamilton gets it done. Max Verstappen will take the second position. A solid day for the Dutchman driving in the Red Bull. But now, for the first time in his career, Nico Hülkenberg scores the podium. Hülkenberg will finish third and score Audi's first ever podium in MF1. What a spectacular race this was today. Today was the day where Lewis Hamilton finally won an MF1 Grand Prix, his first ever career victory in MF1. After numerous close attempts in Season 1, he finally breaks free and wins his first ever MF1 Grand Prix. Max Verstappen will take the second place, a very solid day for him, while Nico Hülkenberg will score his first ever career podium in MF1, the first ever podium for the Audi Revolt Formula 1 team. Now let's move on to the race results. Hamilton, Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Russell, Antonelli, Gasly, Behrman, Alonso, Tsunoda, and Bortoleto. Haas will score the very first points of the season in this race, and Audi with a double points finish. Very good performance with that team. Now let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen with a whopping 104 points, a major gap from second place. Lewis Hamilton will take the second position, Norris is in third, Russell's in fourth, and Charles Leclerc takes fifth in the points. Piastri's in 6th, Antonelli's in 7th, Gasly in 8th, Hülkenberg in 9th, and Alonso is in 10th. Now, let's look at the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull still leads the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari is in 2nd, McLaren is in 3rd, Mercedes is in 4th, Alpine's in 5th, Audi's in 6th, Aston Martin 7th, Cadillac is in 8th, and Haas, for the first ever time this season, scores some points, and they still remain in last place, unfortunately. But at least they have 6 points and not 0. So Haas will definitely be satisfied with that. And the next track on the calendar we'll be visiting is at Monza, the Temple of Speed. Definitely a very good track. Had a great race in Season 1 and probably will have a great race here in Season 2. And I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching this video. And I hope to see you next time at Monza, the Temple of Speed.